Good evening, everyone, and welcome to this Monday edition of the Angela Ray Show. I hope that you all had a fantastic weekend, whatever you got into over the weekend. I know that many people are still practicing social distancing and only going out for the essentials, while others have decided to make their ways out and brave the crowds in so many different areas, restaurants, as well as entertainment. As always, whenever you log on to the broadcast, let me know where you are watching from tonight. We're going to give everyone just a moment or two to get on. And once you get on the broadcast, share this on your page. Let your friends know that you're watching The Angela Ray Show tonight. So, we're going to go ahead and get started with tonight's broadcast with our Ray of Motivation moment. And so, for tonight's Ray of Motivation moment, I'm going to ask the question: is it time to plug in or unplug? Right now, there are so many things happening across the world. There are protests. There is a worldwide pandemic. Many people are suffering economically. Others are looking for jobs. Many people have family members who are suffering from COVID-19 who they can't be with because of isolation. And so, in this time of uncertainty and unrest, it's important to figure out whether you need to unplug or plug in. Do you need to plug into more information that may be beneficial to you, that is uplifting, maybe get your spiritual grounding, or do you need to unplug? Maybe you don't need to watch the news very often, and or maybe you need to unplug from social media. Only you can decide which one of those options is best for you. But every now and then, it's very important for all of us, no matter what's going on, to take a moment to plug in or unplug. And that is your Monday edition of our Ray of Motivation moment. Well, tonight starts a brand new series. We are starting a series called Behind the Scenes, where I will be talking to individuals who don't work in front of the camera in the entertainment industry. On Friday, the unions associated with the entertainment industry issued a joint plan to return to work safely in this era of COVID 19. So tonight, my first guest is a hairstylist. She has worked on projects ranging from Army
Mhm.
Wives and Sleepy Hollow to Being Mary Jane, and even one of my personal favorites, a kind of partial, Robbie. So please help me welcome
Mhm.
Dr. Joyce Gilliard. Hi, Joyce. Thank you so much for joining the broadcast on tonight.
Hi, thank you for having me, Angela. It's a pleasure to be here.
So of course, you're a hairstylist. You had to outdo me tonight. I was like, I should have tried to, do a little something, something, to make you proud, to make you proud.
And you did an awesome job too.
Yeah, I can't quite braid the hair down like you do. But I was thinking about that the other day, like, oh, the way Joyce braided my hair down, like all my lace fronts lay right.
Oh, you're so funny. Well, I'm glad that you were happy.
Definitely. So I know most of the film and television sets around the country started shutting down in mid-March and others maybe by the end of March. Many people have been social distancing. What have you been doing yourself during this time?
Well, during this time of social distancing and being away from the film industry, I have taken this time to educate myself and, also offer classes to other hairstylists so that we can stay on top of our game.
Yeah, I was looking at your Instagram a few weeks ago, and I guess one of the things that you were doing was pulling out old videos. And I saw you teaching a class from I don't know when, but you were teaching people how to do finger waves. I was like, ooh, that's a throwback.
Let me tell you, I forgot all about that video. That was at least, I won't say how many years ago, but it's been forever ago. And that was when I first started educating uh, other, all types of hairstylists so that they're more familiar with doing finger waves and braiding hair types, textures. Yeah, so that was in the beginning of my career.
Okay. Now, when I introduced you, I talked about some of the projects you've worked on, television and film. And I know that you were doing hair before you got on set, but how did you get your start in the industry?
Okay, so before I started working in the film industry, I was a hairstylist in salons. I worked in my grandmother's hair salon and grew up in her salon. And I was a military wife. My husband was stationed in Fort Drum, New York, and I opened up my own salon there, Joyce's Hair Studio, which was a multicultural hair salon. And from working in my own salon, I ended up becoming the hairstylist for Run's house for MTV, Reverend Run, his family. I was their barber for the boys. And then I started doing the girls' hair. And then I ended up being Justine Simmons' hairstylist as well. And that's when I got a taste of the film industry. Because right when they started Run's house, that's when um, right when they started Run's house, that was when I started doing their hair.
Okay. So did you get that, did you get that referral from a friend or had they already been coming in your salon and just asked you to work on the show?
No. So during that time, I was a salon consultant for Manhattan, New York. I worked salons from Wall Street all the way to Harlem. And what happened, it's so crazy because I tell this story and people are like, really? So one of my salons called me because I lived in New Jersey. One of my salons called me and said, Joyce, I need some products and I want to get some classes scheduled. And it was so late that night. And I was like, oh my gosh, I don't want to go to the salon now because I have to catch the train to New Jersey. So something in the back of my mind said, you know what, Joyce, just go ahead to the salon, call your family, let them know that you'll be home late. I did. And when I got to the salon owner wasn't ready to see me. So I went outside and there was a Rolls Royce outside. And so being the person that I was, I started talking to the driver. I said, I've never seen a Rolls Royce up close. And that just made it just tickled him silly. And so we started conversating and he asked me what I did. And I told him that I was a hairstylist. And he said, you know what, do you have any business cards? Because the people I work for, they're always looking for somebody to do their hair. And, the lady, she never was happy with her hair because she spent like $6,000 for a hair weave and she hated it. And I was like, $6,000? So I said, let me give you 10 cards. So then he proceeded to tell me it was for Reverend Run and Russell Simmons. And I was like, oh, he said it was Justine Simmons. So I gave him my cards and I was like, okay, they're never going to call me. But they waited for like maybe 2 weeks. And then I got the phone call that she wanted me to come out to do the boys' hair. And when I did the boys' hair, they were very impressed because I cut their hair just like a barber. And then the next time they called me back, they're like, well, can you come do the girls' hair? So I ended up coming back to do Vanessa and Angela's hair. And so then after that, I guess they liked it. So then I guess the big baller was Justine. And I went back and did her hair. And from that point on, I was going out every week to do either her hair or cut the boys. And every now and then, Angela and Vanessa. And that's when they started their show, Run's House. So it wasn't a word of mouth thing. It was just, I just listened to that voice and it led me to them.
Mm. So you had either taken the time to unplug or plug in so
Yeah,
that you could hear that voice.
yes.
Wow.
And that's
So
how I started.
amazing. That is an amazing story. So many different lessons I think that people can learn from that. Number one, you don't want to discount someone just because of their position. You talk to the driver, and oftentimes we're trying to
Mhm,
get to the person riding in the Rolls Royce when you just
mhm.
talk to the driver, and that still opened the door.
Yes, yes.
Very important. So you mentioned earlier, we were talking about your videos from teaching people how to do finger waves and working on all types of hair. How important is that? Because I have an interesting story from the beginning of my career where someone did not know how to do my hair.
You know, being that my husband was military, I was able to travel across the country to different military bases. And when I first started doing hair, I worked in my grandmother's salon and I only did African American hairstyles. And it wasn't until I became a military wife where I decided to go into the other hair salons where I can do everybody's hair. And I went into the other hair salons and I just knocked them haircuts out of the ball game, started doing hair colors. It was natural for me because I knew the foundation and how to do it. And that's what made me grow doing all types of hair. And it's very important to be able to do all types of hair. Because for me, hair is hair. If you can do hair, you should be able to do if it's curly hair, if it's coarse hair, if it's fine hair, but not all hairstylists can.
No, ma'am, they cannot.
Yeah.
My very first, I guess you could say, real project outside of the many independents that I'd done, which definitely grateful for. But I'm on my first major set, and I was playing a not so glamorous person. So
Uh,
the hair person, plaited my hair, which was fine. Then she proceeded to tease the plaits, my plaits. They won't weave, was not
oh,
implants. And I, being so new to this big project, was like, that's not, no, no. But I was a little bit too nervous to speak up. And I'll be honest, we got through filming. I got home, and when I unbraided my hair,
oh,
it broke. It was broken off so bad. So I do know that it's important, particularly when you're working with a diverse cast, to be able to do everyone's hair. Have you experienced anything like on your watch where you've seen someone is like, that's not quite how you do it for that type of hair?
yes, all the time. And I say something. And sometimes if you're doing other actresses' hair and the other person is doing something to the actress and you're not aware what's happening, sometimes you'll feel the actress staring at you like, please, can you please look over here? You just feel it and then you'll say something. But the majority of the time, I would say something. And, a lot of hairstylists, especially at department heads, if you're working with a department head, they don't want you to say anything to them. because they don't want to feel like they can't do it. But I, yeah, but I have to say something. And I've learned to, as I've gotten, in the business, been out here a longer time, because if you don't, they will mess your hair up. And it's all about educating yourself, learning, being teachable, being able to accept criticism, constructive criticism as well, and work together as a team. Because, like for me, I don't know how to do everything. You don't know how to do everything. But together, if we help each other, it'll work. But you
Right.
have to work with people who are willing to share and give, and receive it well.
Definitely.
Mhm.
Definitely. um, and understand what's going on up under here. I remember I'll share this with you. Someone on your team, when I was working on Robbie, you had already gone for the day, and I had lots of hairpins in my hair to keep my wig on straight. And so I believe it was Crystal. When she took my wig off, she was like, you haven't gotten much circulation with that. Would you like your scalp massage and oil? I was like, yes. Can you please do that? Can you please do that? Oh my goodness. And so, yeah, she took care of me at the end
Yes.
of that day. But just recognizing that, I was like, okay, oh Lord. I was like, Crystal,
Yes.
where you going after this?
Yes, that's amazing to know, because Crystal is like my protege. I brought her into the industry because she's a very talented hairstylist. And, when I met her, she was always helping me with my network. When I used to do haircuts for the homeless, Crystal was that person that was always there wanting to help me. So I noticed that in her, because she was willing to give up her time to help and do things for free. So that's when I reached out to her and I said, you know what? I want I want to teach you everything about the film industry, because you need to be in the industry with me. And she was like, what? And I remember sitting down with her and just showing her everything that I knew, and talked to her, took her on sets to get experience. And she has grown so much since then, and she's not scared to do anybody's hair. She'll do anything you bring to her, and if she doesn't know what to do or how to do it, she'll ask.
Yeah, that
So
I definitely remember that. I was like, oh Lord. This
I'm
is the
so
bomb.
I am so happy to hear that, because she's an awesome hairstylist.
Yeah, definitely, definitely.
Yeah.
So I want to switch gears a little bit. In addition to doing hair, you also have a book. Tell us a little bit about your book.
Yes. So I do have a book. I am a published author. My book is called The Little Book About Toxic Friendships, Recognizing a Toxic Relationship. And
Mm.
yes, and trust me, I don't know, that was not in my plan to write a book about relationships. But I found that when I was in this horrific accident, tragedy, I realized that the people who I thought should have been there for me during the most difficult time in my life, they weren't. And then the ones who were there for me were people that I didn't even know. So it was like, and every time I kept trying to, write things down as far as what was happening to me, as far as, documenting from when I first got hurt to later, I always would push that to the side and write down what I was feeling at that time. So I was really upset. I was really upset at how things were playing out. And the more I wrote and the more I wrote, it became this book. And that's how I came up with the book, The Little Book About Toxic Friendships.
Wow.
And that's when I was able to publish it. And I said, you know what? Publishing this book will help me prepare for the book about what happened to me on that set.
You have a question from one of our very loyal viewers, Mr. Edwin Evans.
Getting your hair cut or getting your hair done can be a very intimate experience. What secrets or stories have you heard in your chair? Baby, because people see hairstylists as their confidant, you know, I don't like to share some of them stories because I don't know who's on this broadcast
Right?
right now. So, that can be a side note question, but people really uh they see us as people that they can talk to. And we like that client experience to be special where they feel comfortable enough to come to me and know that it's not going anywhere. So,
Right.
yeah.
Can you now I'm curious, can you give a very generalized maybe summation of a couple, like throw them all together, so no matter who's watching, like, wait a minute, she can't be talking about me because that person XYZ.
I've had stories, okay, of uh clients who may have been messing around with their friends, husband situations, husband stories, you know, just yeah, just things you wouldn't think people would tell you, but you just listen. That's all you do. People have a lot of issues and a lot of problems at home that they just want to get out, and problems with their kids. So it's a lot of things that people just talk to us about, like we're psychiatrists.
And it's interesting because sometimes they don't lower their voice. You mentioned that, and I know I've been in the salon sometimes, and my head may be down, but I'm like, who is that talking? Saying all of this stuff so freely in an open forum. So it is kind of interesting how that happens.
And then you don't know who knows who too in the salon, or in on set. You just don't know, because I've heard, okay, I can say one story that I can share. I worked on a set, and the makeup artist was talking about another makeup artist, right? And the makeup artist she was talking about, it was like a confidant, somebody, her mentor, somebody she supposedly really looked up to. And
Mm,
she didn't know that I knew this woman, because I was new in the trailer. So I'm sitting there saying in my mind, woman, you need to be quiet because you don't know who I know. You know what I mean?
right.
And I did say something about it to her too. I say, that wasn't cool what you were saying, because I know the person that you were talking about. And they were like, what did I say? You know what I'm saying? And then it
Right.
was also someone else that was in the trailer that knew who she was talking about. And they went back to the mentor and said something to her. So,
Uh-oh.
yeah, so you have to be very careful on what you say, because you don't know how we're all connected.
It's a small world.
Yeah.
And for those of you who have never been on set, but you're watching this and you're trying to figure out what she mean by trailer, oftentimes, almost every time on most sets, both hair and makeup, they're in the same trailer and you're very close together. Like on one end, there may be two or three chairs for the hair, and then, a little bit down, two or three chairs for makeup, but almost always they're in the same trailer. And you're, as an actor, you're going back and forth. Maybe you get your hair done, but they don't want to do the front yet because they still got to put on makeup, so then you go get your makeup done, then you come back to hair so they can style that little bit in the front or whatever. But oftentimes they're in the same area.
Yes, definitely.
So you mentioned getting hurt on set, and the death of Sarah Jones was very tragic in the film industry. And after that, you put together this film. Tell us a little bit about what prompted you to add filmmaker to your list of accolades.
Well, after I was injured on the set of Midnight Rider, which happened February 20th, 2014, I just didn't know what to do at that point. My arm was broken in half and reconstructed, and I got metal plates and and screws in my arm, and they told me I would never do hair again. You know, so while I was doing my recovery time, I just, during the recovery time and writing my book, I said I needed to do something more to bring awareness to safety in the industry. And that's when I decided to start my nonprofit organization, iSafe TV and Film. And with iSafe TV and Film, I made a PSA, a safety PSA. And when I did the safety PSA, I said, you know what? If I can do a safety PSA about, the film industry, maybe I can do a film about it. And that's what prompted me to do Daddy's Home. But I didn't have any idea what Daddy's Home was going to be about or anything. And how it came to me was on my way to work at 3 o'clock in the morning, getting up, driving an hour away from where I live, tired as I don't know what. And while I'm driving, trying to focus on the road, it came to me, write a film about what you're going through right now, trying to get to work, driving home, trying to stay awake and be safe. And I
Hmm.
pulled over on the side of the road, and it just came to me, and I just started writing in my notes, just in my notes. And that's when Daddy's Home came to me, and I decided to do a film. And I didn't know anything about how to write a script. I read them all the time, but write a script or just putting it all together. And I thank God that God just put people in my path, and it's just one thing happened after another. And next thing you know, I have this whole production, and I finished it. And now Daddy's Home is something that was manifested out of just me listening, listening to that voice saying, write this out, pull over, do this, you can do this, because I did not have any idea that I would be a filmmaker.
And the film has been screened in various festivals, correct?
Yes, Daddy's Home has been screened in festivals in Turkey and India and different places across the country. So I'm excited about that. And we won an award as well for Best Short Film.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you so much. I thank you. But yes, yeah, it's really been a journey with Daddy's Home.
Well, the entertainment unions have jointly issued some safety protocols for all of us returning back to work. And as I was mentioning earlier, hair and makeup, they're in close quarters in a trailer. How ready are you to get back to work? And do you think you can implement the safety protocols that have been recommended?
Yes, I am very ready to get back to work. And I also want to get back to work safely. And I read the protocols, that the list that they came up with. And for us as hair and makeup artists, we've been already doing a lot of the things that they were saying. We're always sanitizing, we're always cleaning our tools, we're always cleaning our brushes. The difference is that we'll be wearing masks, wearing masks and taking a few more extra precautions. Like for myself, I've taken classes, throughout this whole pandemic. I've been taking classes to brushing up on, sanitizing and, things like that, as well as I've been purchasing items just to put in my kit, like disposable mask. I've even ordered I have some iSafe TV and film mask coming that we can wear so that we can show that we're being safe as well. Gloves, disposable aprons. I even have a thermometer if I have to do any fever checks. So I'm doing as much as I can to be to take precautions for when I get back to work. And for me, hiring the right team as well, because if before you can just bring whoever on, but I want to make sure that I have a team of hairstylists that's going to work with me, that's going to do the same that I'm doing.
So what's next for you? Do you have a project lined up or two or three lined up?
Well, right now, the first thing that I'm doing, I just finished my new script that I have written. Yes,
Ooh.
I did. I just finished my new script. So I do look to shoot that sometime, hopefully soon. And then I do have another project. The project that I was working on prior to the pandemic, I was in LA working on A Lot of Nothing. And we got shut down just like all the other shows did. And we're going back to finish that. And then I have another project coming up in North Carolina for when I get back.
Okay. Awesome. Do
Yeah.
you have any advice for someone who does hair? They may be very diverse in the clients they serve, but they're interested in the entertainment industry.
Yes. The advice that I would give an upcoming hairstylist for TV and film or makeup artist is to first educate yourself about the film industry, learn set etiquette, definitely set etiquette, and stay on top of your skills and be teachable,
Mm,
because a lot of salon stylists come in thinking they know everything, but you don't know everything. And working in the salon world and film world are two different worlds. So, you were used to being the boss as a salon owner or salon stylist. But when you work in TV and film, you have several bosses. So you have to be willing to learn, be teachable, and have a very good attitude. The attitude is like, for me, when I work with people, I look for the attitude to see what their energy is like, because everybody can't work together. They clash.
yeah.
And if you come in with a teachable spirit, I'd rather somebody with a teachable spirit than somebody that's been doing this 25 years. Because the people that come in with the teachable spirit and a good heart and a good work ethic, definitely the work ethic, I rather hire them than the people that have been doing it for 25, 30 years. Because that work ethic and showing that you work hard and just do what you need to do and listen and be
Hmm.
teachable, that goes a long way.
Definitely. We got another question for you before we wrap up.
Since we are heading back to the barber shops and hair salons soon, what should we look for as patrons and customers? That's a good question. So, since you're going back to the barber shops and salons, as a customer, I'm going to look to see if the stylists are cleaning their tools.
Right.
That's a big deal. Cleaning
Hmm.
their tools, making sure their station is clean, everything around is sanitized. After you finish one client, make sure you clean up before you start the other client. After you finish doing someone's hair, make sure you wash your hands and sanitize before you touch the next person. So you would need to pay attention to everything dealing with cleanliness, and sanitizing when you go to a salon. If you see a salon that got hair all over the floor and they're working on 2 and 3 customers and they don't have like a sanitizer by their station, or, just things like that, go away. Don't even go someplace else, and even look to make sure, because a lot of hairstylists are taking classes that they can have the certificates on the window, make sure their license is on the window, uh, just anything that's going to show that they've actually prepared for the after pandemic, everything that they're trying to do just to make sure that they protect their clients as well as themselves.
And I think that that is a great way to end. Dr. Joyce, thank you so much. Do you have any final thoughts? I mean, I think that that is, for those of us who may not be on set, but are ready to get something done to the fro or to the locks or whatever. Uh, Great advice for the best way to do that safely.
Mm-hmm. My Just to add, everybody needs to really be vigilant and pay attention. Cover their mouth when they're coughing, wear your mask. Just always wear your mask and just be mindful of the other person because you don't know. People are out here that may be asymptomatic. How is it asymptomatic?
Asymptomatic, yes.
Yes. And, you don't know. And so you have to wear mask and just protect yourself as well as the other person and just be vigilant in each other's safety.
Awesome advice. Well, I look forward to seeing you maybe on set soon,
Yeah.
whenever we all get back to work. And Dr. Joyce's Instagram accounts are scrolling at the bottom of the screen, as well as her website.
Thank you so very much for having me, Miss Angela Ray. I appreciate it. And thank you to everyone who tuned in. And I look forward to seeing you all soon.
All right, awesome.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right.
All right, that is it for this Monday edition of the Angela Ray Show. As always, I would like to remind you of innovation number 54. Cleaning a mirror will not change the person who is reflected in it. Until next time, I encourage you all to go out and be the change. Have a great night.